And welcome everybody to this week's exciting episode.
Stuffy, 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 mushroom, mushroom, stuffy, 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 mushroom, mushroom. The intros are back.
I like it. I missed your intros. 2 weeks without intros, and
Oh, you know what? I'm bringing them back.
yeah,
Yeah, I've decided.
didn't even need the audience to beg you. Or
No,
anything.
what it was is after the last two episodes with no intro, it felt weird not having an intro,
It did.
and I didn't like it. I liked it more having intros.
I like it more having intros. The silliness just starts straight away.
It is, yeah.
That's how I like it.
Yeah, okay. Intros are back. That was a reference to an old song, an internet song. If you remember, the words are actually Badger.
Yes, I do.
But I changed it to Stuffy because we're in a room and it's stuffy.
It is quite stuffy. I don't think it's quite as stuffy as the old shed.
No, it's actually all right, to be fair. It's quite nice.
Compared to that, which was an absolute sweat box at this time of the year in the middle of the summer.
Yeah. We would already be sweating if it was the shed. So
yeah,
the studio, sorry.
It's
not a shed.
It was a shed. Let's face it, it was a shed.
Yeah, well, this is a studio.
This is a studio, but I've not painted the walls, but I think it'll keep it a little cooler.
If you were to paint the wall, what would you go for?
Oh, dark grey, same as the old studio.
Ah, I see. Yeah. I like it. It's a new change. We welcome is it cream? Magenta?
I think Magnolia.
That's it, not magenta.
Magenta, yeah. Magenta's more like the spooky side.
Magnolia as well, I was thinking of. Yeah, or a vanilla. A warm vanilla.
Warm vanilla. It's just basic landlord colour, isn't it? Or every landlord just paints their house.
That was my nickname in high school, Warm Vanilla.
Warm vanilla? Really?
Yeah, because I'm not all the way vanilla. I'm mixed. There's a bit of cinnamon in there.
There's a bit of spice in there. Spicy vanilla.
Yeah, no, that wasn't actually my nickname. I always wanted a nickname and never had one.
Yeah?
Yeah, like all my mates had like really cool nicknames, like Clay Train.
What?
And, yeah, there's a few of them.
Were you not J-Dog?
No, I kind of tried to give myself J-Dog when I was trying to be funny, but also at the time I was doing copious amounts of drugs. So I wanted to...
So you wanted to be cool and be J-Dog?
Yeah.
And no one would let you?
Yeah, and then I tried changing it to J-Dog, you know, when D-A-W-G.
Oh, yeah.
And then I thought that was even funnier, and that never picked up. So
it's because you can't intentionally give yourself a nickname.
You can't.
It just has to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, you got your nickname from...
Yeah, that was accidental, though.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to give myself the nickname Pirate. It just... Yeah. I did it sort of taking a mickey, and it stuck. And then, I was kind of stuck with it, even though I didn't really want the name Pirate.
But you do look like a modern pirate.
And there's worse nicknames you could have, isn't there?
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. You don't want the nickname like Blubber Guts or something.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I'd get that anyway.
No.
Stickman, probably more like.
That's our other podcast, Stickman and Blubber Guts. You can check us out after hours. We're talking all sorts of nonsense.
If there actually is a podcast out there called Stickman and Blubberguts, then we're just bigging them up. Because that was totally made up.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of Itchy Sack and the Nut Scratchers.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
Stickman and Blubberguts.
Oh, we've got to make a band and call it that now.
My band days are over, my friend.
Yeah.
I can't play bass anymore.
Oh.
I tried. I can't do it.
It's a shame. There's one right behind me.
Yeah. What are we doing today, mate? What's the plan?
Well, yeah, we're talking about aliens.
Oh, we haven't had an alien one for a while.
We haven't had any for a while, Josh, in case you noticed we had a little break.
Yes. But even before the break, we didn't have much aliens going on, did we?
Not a massive amount, no. It was more like predictions of the future and that sort of thing, wasn't it?
You were on a prediction high for a little
weeks.
While. And also, we're still alive after 7.
We are. Did we not cover that already last time?
See, when we recorded the last episode, I'm pretty sure it was happening.
Actual day, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then you went on holiday, and we haven't done anything for 2 weeks. So yeah. Yeah, we survived.
Happen.
Didn't happen again.
Yeah.
Shot down.
Yeah. Another one.
Or does that mean that the campaign of saving 7 was successful?
Yay, hooray. We saved 7.
Yeah.
Definitely not a load of...
Okay,
at all.
yeah, we won't publish that. But no, today I've got I guess this is quite a famous story. Not massively one, but if you're in your ufology circles, you will probably have heard of the name Valiant Thor.
I know Thor.
You know Thor,
but not Valiant.
This is not Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, damn.
This is before that sort of time. This story comes from, throughout the decades, to be honest. I think the very first publication of this story
I'm
was...
guessing 60s.
1959.
Oh, come on!
Not far off. Not far off.
1 year out. Just like Ken Bruce.
1 year out, yeah. But to give you just an overall sort of summary, is back in the 1950s, I think it was 1953 or something like that.
He looks a bit like Bigfoot.
No, sorry, it was 56, 57. The winter of 1956, 57. This visitor supposedly landed in a spacecraft in, and I can't remember where it said now.
America. It's got to be
It is in America, yeah. Near the Pentagon, basically.
Oh, actually near the actual Pentagon.
Yeah, near the Pentagon.
Okay.
Landed the spaceship, got the attention of the police, came along.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And he said, "Take me to your leader." So that they
is that where it comes from?
I guess so, yeah. they took him to the Pentagon. Now, apparently, this alien, Valiant Thor, his name was, he was the commander of the spaceship, stayed at the Pentagon and had an audience with President Eisenhower several times. Over 3 years, he stayed at the Pentagon in his own little apartment.
Oh, right.
All right.
So hang on.
Okay.
He has his ship.
Yeah.
He lands.
Yeah.
Says, "Take me to your leader."
Yeah.
And then they house him and give him all this stuff.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's just like the Americans, that, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of what's happening in Europe at the moment, isn't it?
Kind of.
Oh. Awkward.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Alexandria, Virginia is where he landed. Now, this guy, calling himself Valiant Thor, now he said that he claimed that he was from Venus.
But women are from Venus.
And boys are from Mars.
Yeah.
So he can't have been kidding.
No.
But no.
Hoax.
He claimed that he was from Venus. His entire civilization is from Venus and been watching Earth for thousands of years, watching and cultivating humanity, you know, watching us as though we've been kicked out of the Garden of Eden and we're stuck here on Earth, you know, to try and prove ourselves. And Valiant Thor, obviously, after the events of the Great Wars in the early 20th century with the nuclear strikes and stuff like that, they decided it was time to actually come down and preach goodwill to all men, if you like, try and get humanity to mend its ways. It was said that Valiant Thor was inhumanly good looking. All right, I'll show you a picture of him when he was here in the 50s, early, because he's been here ever since, apparently.
Okay.
To me, he just looks like a regular guy in the 50s. He's got a JFK haircut.
Yeah.
You know, just a normal guy in a suit.
You would say...
There's nothing remarkable about him at all, is there?
That's typical 1950s handsome,
yeah,
isn't it?
In America, particularly, yeah.
If you're thinking of 1950s American men wearing a suit kind of thing, you've probably got the image in your head already.
Yeah. You know that John Travolta from Grease hairstyle? That, you know, I think it's called a DA or whatever. That, you know, that slick black brill cream. you know, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Nice suit, you know, clean shaven. That's this guy.
Hey, I'm an alien.
Yeah. I'm from Venus, don't you know?
It's electrifying.
But I mean, there's a few pictures in this book of him, and apparently, yeah, he stayed here for many, many years, decades even. The book that goes all the way up to like the 1980s and the 2000s about Valiant Thor's interactions with humanity. And one of the first pictures of him in the book is it's older, and he's now got silver hair and a goatee. And there's two pictures right at the very start of the book.
That's Billy Connolly.
That looks like Billy Connolly,
yeah.
and that looks like Asian Billy Connolly. At what point did he turn Asian? That's what I want to know.
He does actually look a bit Asian there, doesn't he?
Doesn't
kind
he?
of like Bigfoot as well.
It's the way his beard's changed. That's a very Asian beard, isn't it?
That looks like a very different guy.
Yeah.
But is he a shape-shifting alien?
Well, this is the thing. He can apparently materialise and dematerialise, because that's how he got out of the Pentagon and back to his spaceship at the end of his initial 3-year visit. And
that has been recorded.
Now, this is the thing. I'm just looking for the paragraphs now. Because he obviously has meetings with the president and that sort of thing.
So who was Alexander Vagina?
Alexander, huh?
Did you say Alexander Vagina?
Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, yeah. What is?
That's where he landed.
Oh, it's a place.
Yes.
I thought it was a person.
Not far from Washington and that, where the actual...
Right. I thought the first person that interacted with him was Alexander Virginia.
No. Okay.
Right, that makes sense. Okay.
Right, so apparently one of the weird things is he didn't have any fingerprints.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Aliens wouldn't have fingerprints, I doubt.
Maybe, yeah, not necessarily. But he was here. He was on a mission to meet with the president and the officials and that sort of thing, and try and guide humanity onto the right path.
Also, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
You go.
Because there's probably other people thinking the same thing. So he's taking human form, but he is claiming to be from Venus.
Yes.
Okay, right. Because he does look like a human in those pictures.
I don't know if he's capable of looking at anything else other than human.
Right.
Because of reasons I'll get to.
Okay, right. Sorry, you carry on, sir.
Okay. Now, he claimed to be obviously a Venusian alien who was appointed by God himself. Now, it's almost like this book steers your beliefs towards the idea that these Venusian aliens are angels. Okay?
Okay.
Because it does knit this sort of weave between science fiction and like the Christian Bible. You know, Valiant Thor says himself, you know, you should believe in Jesus Christ and, you know, the story of Jesus Christ. He says it's not the same on Venus, but we all live under the same God, and it's from his ruling that we come on our mission here to Earth to try and put Earth to rights.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Because I feel like religion and science fiction, I kind of see them separately. So if this person is kind of trying to bring them together, I'm not mad at that.
No, that's cool. Now, I'm steering away from a massive elephant in the room at this point, because he's claiming to come from Venus.
Yeah.
Venus is one of the most inhospitable environments in our solar system.
Is that the gas one?
It's not the gas one. It is a solid planet. It's the next closest planet to the sun. It's Earth's twin, basically, about the same size as Earth. It is a rocky planet, but it's got a very hostile carbon dioxide atmosphere with sulfuric acid clouds.
Okay,
and
right.
if you were to make it through the clouds to the surface of the planet, the air pressure is the same as you being a kilometre underwater. It would practically crush you to death. And it's hot enough to melt lead.
Right, okay.
So any spacesuit that we've got at the moment is not really going to help you.
Okay, so Science 1, Valiant Thor 0 at this point.
At this point. Now...
Oh, wrong one.
Right, okay. But Valiant Thor did claim to live underground on Venus.
Okay,
Which
does that...
I guess gives it a little bit of credence. But reading this book, the book that I'm taking this from, by the way, is called A Stranger in the Pentagon. A Stranger at the Pentagon, written predominantly by Frank E. Strangers.
Frank E. Strangers.
Frank E. Strangers.
That's
yeah,
a quality name for an author.
And it's largely the book is a sort of almost like a biography from his point of view, his meetings with Valiant Thor.
Oh, so he's met this guy.
Yeah, he's met Valiant Thor, and it's largely his point of view. Is this book just the various meetings that he had through the decades? A lot of them were just by chance. Some of them were planned. Some of them he gets hijacked and attacked by men in black and all that sort of thing. It's as far as the book goes to read, it's mediocre, but it's interesting. But quite early on in the book, obviously, he goes on about them trying to meet the president and set up this, I guess, kind of almost a new world order, but a better one. So I'm just going to read just a quick paragraph. It says, his last meeting with the president, this would be President Eisenhower, did not reap any lasting results. The president wanted to let the world know of Val's proposed plan, but the Secretary of Defense, the head of Central Intelligence Agency, and the military chiefs of staff were opposed to this suggestion. The president attempted to effect a joint meeting before the General Assembly of the United Nations, but this plan too was rejected. He was informed that the UN would receive a special press release in the form of a memorandum to the Secretary General no later than February the 7th, 1966. These leaders of the US government argued long into the night, fearing that if the people of this nation learned of the plan Val was offering, they might choose to follow him instead of them. And when a man feels that his personal space and tranquility may be threatened, the human reaction is always that of a swift self-preservation. At one point, the vice president insisted that the pressure boys allow the president to make the choice. He was vetoed without even a chance to complete his statements.
Okay.
Now, if this is to be believed, that means that Valiant Thor was having meetings in some of the highest offices it's possible to get into.
Yeah.
It's claimed that there is evidence of, these people meeting, these high-ranking officials meeting them, but throughout all the CIA documentation and stuff that's ever been sort of released to the public, with the Freedom of Information Act and all that sort of thing, not a single document outside of this book has ever been published claiming that Valiant Thor was in fact there at the White House. This is the only document that claims it.
So is it kind of like he himself is making all these claims, but it's not?
We don't know. That's the thing. Like I say, a lot of this book is written from the point of view of Frank Strangers. There are some extracts right at the very back where it seems like Valiant Thor's actually writing it himself. There's a section called A Word from Valiant Thor, and it just goes on about Valiant's point of view and what he was trying to do and that sort of thing, as well as a load of stuff about his spaceship. It does go into detail about his spaceship. His spaceship was called Victor 1. It was a Victor class spaceship. Apparently there's over 200 of these encircling the planet, keeping an eye on us all, on every major continent in the world. Valiant Thor, I just want to, because I know you're going to absolutely rip into this if I read it.
I'm ready.
Valiant Thor, this is his kind of backstory. It says, a very long time ago, Commander Val was an instructor at what would be considered university level on Venus. Bear in mind that he is one of those beings who was directly created by the hand of the Almighty God himself. There are times when one such as Val will elect to attach himself to parents of other children, usually because there is kinship of thoughts and ideas that together they can perpetuate for the glory of Almighty God throughout the universe. Therefore, Val is not considered one who was created by the Father, yet not in as high a position as Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ came to earth as a very embodiment of the Creator of creators. Val is in a special class by himself, yet because of a desire to be part of a special Venusian family, he has also taken upon himself the pleasure of having a ready-made family, namely Don, Thon, and Doc. These are all fellow members of the Thor family. In the beginning, Val was called Valiant. After attaching himself to the family, he then adopted their surname Thor. Now...
Hang on, so you're telling me that it's Thon Thor, Don Thor, and what was the other
Doc Thor.
Doc Thor.
And guess what? Guess what job Doc does on board the ship?
Is he a doctor?
He is! How did you guess?
What? No way.
How original is that?
That's amazing. That's some really good science fiction writing there. I like that. That's so good. It's really original. It's really convincing.
It goes on to say...
Okay, yeah, give me some more. Give me some more ammunition.
This is just going to be... I'm not going to read this part, but because to be honest, it doesn't actually tell you what it is anyway. But it does go on to say that they can only come to the planet once they've been through this this ritual called the Ring of Fire.
Oh, as in the Johnny Cash song?
Yeah, the Ring of Fire.
When was that? 60s, 70s?
Something like that, yeah.
Right, okay.
They have to go through this ritual which protects them from all the evils of mankind and protects them from, injury and whatnot when they arrive here on Earth.
Okay, please tell me what their ritual consists of.
It doesn't say.
Oh,
honestly, I read through the entire paragraph thinking, it's going to tell us what the ritual is soon. It's going to tell us what the ritual is soon. No, never ever tells you. It doesn't go like, 1, dance like a chicken. 2, light a fire. No, none of that. Honestly, it just says that you have to go through this ritual and then it just moves on.
Well, that's good. Don't spare any details, will you, Frank? So,
no.
Okay, it's starting to sound a bit Scientology to me. But
yeah.
what is... I'm still confused as to,
that
at the moment, he seems just like a random crazy dude that claims that he's from Venus. What... Does he say what his purpose is? So it was to try and bring peace.
Peace, yeah.
But how did he achieve that? He just spent 3 years living in accommodation with Alexander Vagina.
I guess his mission was to meet with world leaders and, try and weave some kind of international security and, peacefulness. Because obviously this started not long in the Cold War, really. Not long after the nuclear disaster that was, Hiroshima and that. So I'm guessing the claim is that, the Venusians were keeping an eye on Earth, saw all that going on, and thought, we ought to step in here and do something. And let's face it, this isn't the first time we've had, that sort of similar story has been talked about with aliens. Maybe not Venusians and some guy who just looks like a 50s pin-up.
Oh, you mean the idea of saving the planet and stuff like that? Yeah.
Cultivating humanity.
I did hear a new theory recently, which is kind of loosely tied to that, I guess.
Okay, yeah, go for that.
So I saw that there's this new belief or new conspiracy idea, whatever you want to call it, that Earth and every human, including me and you, we're basically just vessels. And
right.
Basically the reason Earth is on its own in the solar system, where there doesn't seem to be any other life on other planets, we're kind of very solo, aren't we?
Yeah.
Is that the rest of the universe are all utopia. They're all having a great time. Planets are working with each other. there is peace in the galaxy.
That's basically the same as this, you know.
And
all the Venusians in this that are like, we're happy, holding hands, dancing rings around the roses, and all that sort of thing. And other visitors, by the way, from other areas of the galaxy, they all report to the Venusians before they come here, as well, according to this book.
Do you know what would make it more believable for me? Because this also, like you said, this isn't the first time someone claims to be an alien from another planet or
no.
Right? And this isn't a knock on America, because coming back after our break, I'm going to try to embrace my American side.
Zen.
And I'm going to try and lay off the Americans.
Right.
Okay, I am honestly going to try, and because I give them a lot of stick.
You do.
And just because I'm half American doesn't give me the right to bash Americans. So I'm gonna try and side with them.
Play nice.
I'm gonna play nice.
Good boy.
But the only thing I'm confused about is this happens all the way around the world, the globe. But a lot of it does seem to happen in America, right? Yeah. Now, hear me out. Yeah. If an alien came down to America, that's fine. If that's your chosen destination, Miami's lovely this time of year. I understand it. America's got some great things.
Mosquitoes this time of year.
Yeah, but there's some good things in America, you know. Right. Food-wise, is what I'm thinking of. But if this Valiant Thor came down and was like, oh, I can speak English, but I can also speak every other language in the world and go anywhere else I like, that would make me believe these types of people more often. But it always just seems to be that they just know English and they only speak English. But if he was all of a sudden...
He obviously doesn't, because he managed to turn himself Asian.
But this is what I'm saying. If he managed to go, I also speak Mandarin, and then started speaking Mandarin, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe this guy... Not just Mandarin, but do you know what I mean? Like, if there was different languages and things, and maybe his own native language from Venus... But it's just English.
Well, but you wouldn't understand if he came down and started going...
No, but I'd be more... I'd believe him more. If he started doing that first and then was like... Oh,
you can't understand me. Sorry, I'll speak your language.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But they come straight here and they're like, take me to your leader. I speak perfect fluent English. And I'm like... You've been underground on Venus. How do you know how to speak English?
Yeah, even Josh doesn't speak perfect English.
Exactly. No one speaks perfect English, but this guy's written a whole book about it. Like, I don't get it. There's a bit of a disconnect for me. Valiant Thor. I mean, it is a cool name.
It is a cool name, yeah. His original name was Valiant. But I just, like I say...
it's very Scientology, though.
It is. It is.
And he didn't obviously save us, because the world is worse than ever.
Yeah.
Kind of, I suppose. You know, there was world wars and stuff, but with everything going on at the moment, it doesn't seem like he did a good job of fixing the world.
This is one of the things that that I have a problem with this book. Right, and it is right at the very end. Like I say, right at the end of the book, the last section is a word from Valiant Thor. Then it goes into postscript, signs and wonders, still apparently written by Valiant Thor himself. Okay. And he goes on and says, you know, about the people that he actually first was originally, this story was penned by Gray Barker. It was Barker who first interviewed me and wrote the early drafts of this book, but certain material by he's a Reverend Frank Strangers.
Reverend.
There you go. Added a few years later.
That explains
Jesus. After strangers approached, Barker claimed that he knew material on me, which was partially true. Now, that's fair enough. Yeah, all right, okay. What not? It does make a good, interesting read. Then he goes on to say about, my main emphasis during the Cold War was to stop the proliferation of nuclear weapons, both in your atmosphere and under the surface of your planet, since UFO and science fiction magazines tend to cater to open-minded citizens using those outlets as an obvious choice. He then says, I should probably say our planet instead, because as it turns out, I may not actually be from the planet Venus.
What was the point?
It says it there in black and white.
I was just, and that's the very last paragraph as well.
Not the very last paragraph. It does keep going on about all these other paranormal investigators, and he's like saying, "Oh, I believe this dude, but not that dude." And
Valiant
this sort of
Thor said that.
The Valiant Thor, yeah, he says, turns out I may not actually be from planet Venus. When I was growing up at our Aurora base in the Appalachian Mountains, we were told to say we were from Venus if any neighbors asked. This would keep them from asking further questions.
Oh, my. Do you know what? What's funny? Before you said that, I was just about to say to you, what happened to him after, like, the White House and stuff? Did he end up going back to his planet? Because if he moved somewhere and got a mortgage and settled down, he's not a blimmin' alien, is he?
No. According to the book, he spends a lot of time on his ship, Victor 1.
Still now?
Still to this day. Look, he's got like the layout design of the ship.
This is a load of rubbish.
And stuff.
So where's the ship then? Still parked next to the Pentagon?
Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah, it does list. Well, it lists where they were when the writing of this book, where all the ships were around the globe. There was like over 200 of them listed somewhere. I can't remember. But yeah, he basically spends his time commanding the ship, and he'll
just flying.
Yeah, just flying around, keeping an eye on humanity, and he'll zip back and forward from time to time, visiting people that he thinks are worth visiting, and then growing old into an older Asian-looking guy.
But he's not. He's not from Venus. He grew up in the Appalachian Mountains.
Apparently,
but he's got a spaceship and.
Which you can only is invisible as well, by the way.
Oh, come on!
You can only see the doorway when it opens.
No,
and he'll stand at the top of the ramp, but you can't see the rest of the ship.
I'm out. If this is Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, I'm out. That is nonsense. So he has an invisible ship. He might not be from Venus, and he speaks perfect English. And
he can change from John Travolta into
an
elderly Asian man. According to the photos that are in the book claim to be of Valiant Thor, but I mean the ones from back in the 50s could be pretty much any. It
could be anyone.
US bloke, couldn't it? Any guy from 1950s America.
That's my granddad Cal. That's exactly what he looked like.
It looks like my granddad as well.
There you go.
From the 1950s. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell.
I will give him credit. It is great to see a pocket square on a suit.
Yeah.
I do think that adds another layer.
That was commonplace back then, though, I suppose, wasn't it?
We don't do it enough.
No, not enough.
It only seems to be like weddings that people do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think if you're wearing a suit, go the extra mile. Wear a pocket square.
Why not?
You'll get a little bit of extra attention.
Even just reach into that top left pocket and then just pull the inside out. That
inside
works as
out
well.
trick. Yeah.
It works. But there we go. That is the story of Valiant Thor. If you want to read it for yourself, it's called Stranger at the Pentagon. There's quite a few different prints of it. There's a few different versions. I got I don't know what version I got, to be honest. The cheapest one. This one is the new Sorcery Press edition. 2024.
Do you know how mad I actually am about the fact that this guy has the cheek to write a whole book about meeting the leaders and causing world peace, and then towards pretty much the very end, I might not have actually come from Venus.
I know.
I might have made the whole thing up. Like, that's so ridiculous. I know. That's like me writing an autobiography, being like, oh, I'm a superhero, and I've flown around the world, and I've saved cats from trees.
And he can teleport himself around the place, and, all that
I've got laser eyes, I can do all this stuff, and then at the end going, oh, I'm not actually a superhero. I'm just a normal person. Like, it's nuts to me that people... Like, shame on whoever published that as well. Call yourself a reverend.
The Sorcery Press, I think it was called.
The
Sorcery Press edition, yeah.
Well, I'd like to press my knuckles against their jaw, because that was a waste of time.
I thought it was quite a funny story. But no,
it is quite a funny story, to be fair.
I came across it because I was researching it, because Valiant Thor has been on the list for a while, because like I say, it is quite a famous story of an alien visitation.
That's nuts to me. There's no way people believe this.
I don't know. But I originally started my research on the internet, that there internet.
Oh, that internet.
And the website that I was reading the story from said, apparently the Valiant Thor, this account of Valiant Thor only really actually originates in one place, and it was the book The Stranger at the Pentagon. And I was like, okay, we've got to do a book dive now. But yeah, the more I dove into this book, the less I believe it, to be honest. And then when I got to that chapter at the end, I might not actually be from Venus. I was like, all right, that was a waste of 14 quid. But
yeah. I love the fact it's like, this source, this book, it came from one place. Yeah, Valiant Thor himself.
I thought you'd take the mick more out of his brothers' names, Thok, Dong, Doc, or whatever they're called.
I think they've caused themselves enough embarrassment, mate, to be honest. Doc the Doctor Thor. And then what was it?
Thong and Dong. Thong. I can't remember.
Thong Dong.
Thong and Dong.
Yeah, Thong and Dong, and their last name's Thor and Dong Thor. And what a load of rubbish.
So, on the the old paranormality scale then.
1. I'm not even giving this any more time. 1. Do you know? Actually, no. I think this has actually created a really fun podcast, and I would just like to say, for the last 2 episodes, my energy was off. Like,
you get it back now.
I spoke to you about it, and I'm not going to go into detail, but like mental health wise, I went through a little rough patch, and this has actually given me that I feel good. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel a lot better.
That's
I'm in a better
why I
place.
did this one.
And this story, although it's infuriating, it's actually quite funny. So, because of that, I'm not going to give it a 1. I'm going to give it a 1.7.
That's generous.
Yeah, I think just before the humour factor, the comedy factor in it, I'm going to give it a 1.7.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 1.
Yeah, that's fair. So that gives our average of 1.35.
Does. Yeah, well done. Your maths is getting better as well.
Yeah, my maths is getting on point, man.
Yeah, man.
It's good stuff. My maths is better than my English these days. And when I was in school, it was the other way around.
There you go. You can improve on things if you stick to it.
Always improving. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in to Stickman and Blubberguts.
And that comes full circle.
Yes.
And if you want to read about the story of Valiant Thor yourself, you can find Stranger at the Pentagon on Amazon. And
don't buy it.
Yeah, I would recommend the free Kindle version if anything.
Just listen to this pod again if you're not sure on any details.
Yeah, I don't cover all the details, but I think I covered the main ones that are worth covering.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow the word of Valiant Thor, then remember that we are all children of God.
I'm not,
but mostly him. He is actually created by the Almighty.
Yeah, it appears that way.
and assigned as a commander on a spaceship.
Yeah.
He
created some almighty bull. That's what he created. Well, fantastic. Yeah, I like it.
Well, I think it's good to be back. It is good to be back. And thank you for coming back. Thank you for sticking with us through the break, coming back, joining us. If you've tried to help us out by buying merch or joining Patreon, I think we did have someone join our Patreon. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for still downloading our episodes. We've had loads of downloads, even all throughout our break. It's been really refreshing to see, particularly when I go on Reddit and see other podcasters going, I only got 40 downloads in the last 6 months. How can I improve? And we're just getting hundreds every week, and it's just like we haven't even done anything. It's great.
We were there once. We were there once, and if it wasn't for the listeners, we wouldn't be where we are here.
And no, exactly. And
so thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for sticking with us. But we're back, and we're bad. We're going to carry on going as if we never stopped.
We're back, baby! That wasn't loud enough.
I think that's as loud as it goes.
Oh.
But yeah.
Well, Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Maybe we'll refresh those for next time as well.
Oh, get some new sounds.
Yeah. Oh, no, they were on the other computer.
Oh, no.
Penguin's got the other computer. It's in the shop for repair.
It's in the penguin shop. That's all right.
By the way, I need that back, Penguin.
We should probably catch up with him, to be fair.
I have.
Okay. I need to catch up with him.
You do, yeah, definitely. And until next week, I've been Pirate.
I'm J-Dog.
Josh the Blubberman.
I'm J-Dog Blubberman. Blubberguts.
Blubberguts, that's it. And I'm Stickman. This has been Paranormality UK. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta!
Oh, bravo.